Welcome to the AP Automation Series for Document and Forms Management Automation. Today's topic is Accounts Payable Automation. Today I'm going to be talking about two- and three-way matching with Advanced Capture. But first I'm going to be covering other options you have for two- and three-way matching inside the AP process. Okay, let's get started. Inside of the AP process, there's four areas that you can do two- and three-way matching at. The first one that we'll be covering today is the capture phase, where you can do two- and three-way matching directly to the ERP system and line of business system. The second option you have is during the workflow process. So as documents come through the system and documents are routed, we can also do two- and three-way matching with what we call our HS Forms module in the AP process. So that's the second step. The third step inside of a two- and three-way matching process is usually our best practice method because it's already built into either the ERP or line of business system. So we can actually format the data the way the ERP system needs it to be able to do that matching process. So we don't have to recreate that wheel. The fourth option you have is if you're using RPA, so the robotic process automation. There's also two- and three-way matching you can do with bots. So we can actually create an RPA bot to do the two- and three-way matching from the data that was extracted or through the workflow flow process to be able to do that matching. So today what I'm going to focus on from the live demonstration standpoint and walkthrough is the advanced capture and how it could do the two- and three-way matching from databases. All right, let's jump into the live demonstration here. So from this standpoint, what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy some files in here to get the system started. So this is actually just to sort of replicate the capture process either via email or documents being scanned into the system. But what the system is going to do is the system is going to pick up these documents and then start the process on them. And then from the process standpoint, when the system picks these up, it's going through the different levels inside of there. So the registration station, the verification station, it's doing the OCR data extraction at the header, footer, and line item detail level for that two- and three-way match process. And it's going through the business rules and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to walk through today is that matching process and how those business rules can be applied to the documents that are coming into the system. So from what I'm going to show it from is what we call the verification station. So the verification station is the user input option, so the user in the loop interface for that user to be able to do the verification of the exception documents, right? So I'm going to show this and how the system is doing it behind the scenes inside of here. So this is the verification station, and you'll see that the verification station threw up a rule error down here below. And this is an example of what we call business rule errors, right? So two- and three-way matching rule errors. So if I click on this informational button, you'll see it actually can pop open the information of why it failed that two- or three-way match process. So in this case, there was an allowed deviation of 10%. That 10% rule was broken inside of here because it was over that 10% deviation. So there was a variance from the PO to the invoice amount inside of this process. So where we're getting this data from is from the ERP line of business system or database. So my database here has the PO. I have a PO table inside of my database where it's actually getting that information from for that different variance. So there was a variance from that total amount inside of there to be able to trigger off of. So we can connect to different ODBC data sources to be able to grab that information and do that matching process. In my next example here, I'm going to walk through just another quick example here that we have. I'm going to go through the process here of doing some what we call self-learning inside the system. So we can do different things like that inside of here to be able to process this information. So I'm going to process this one here. I'm going to accept this three-way matching rule error here. and then I'm going to walk through the next document and do that self-learning process really quickly so I can get you to the next example. So I'm actually teaching it information as I'm walking through. I'm hitting the next button to do that verification. And this next example of a matching process is more of a two-way match, right? So we're matching against the vendor information inside here. So we're looking at the phone number in this case, and it's basically saying that we have 4 matching records found. So this is another example of that matching process and how we can trigger that event, and then we can, from the operator standpoint, if they want to be able to look that up in their ERP system, they can just hit this little informational button here and then populate the little menu here so they are able to select which one they want, and then it's going to populate it into the system and pass it through. So this is what we call the verification station. So if a user has to do some of this interactively, but this is what the system is doing behind the scenes to be able to do that two and three-way match option against those ERP and line of systems databases. That concludes our demonstration for today. Thank you for your time.